You are now listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another Panic Room episode right into your living rooms or wherever you may be watching us. I'm the Horse, and here joining me tonight, the man is back. Deadly, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, going good, mate. Doing all right. I got a bit of a funny story to tell before we have a bit of a discussion here. The Horse, about 30 seconds before the show goes, what am I going to do with Jared Witts, who's been managed? And I said, maybe start the Panic Room podcast so we can talk about it on the Panic Room instead of discussing it 20 seconds before we meant to start.
That's cute.
No, but in all seriousness, I do want to start tonight's show. If this news is real, which is just coming out in the past 10 minutes or so, Diogo Jota passing away, star forward for Liverpool. I will send my condolences out from me and all of Insight to him, his family, the whole of Liverpool, and anyone who supports Liverpool. This is going to be a bit of a shock to the system for many soccer fans.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Yeah. Very, very sad news indeed, if it is in fact bang on the money, mate. Tonight, though, we are going to be talking round 17 and the Panic Room. So each week we go through each team, the ins, the outs, and how this is going to impact certain teams and their SuperCoach scoring ability. My team's already affected because one of my two ruckmen is being managed this week, but we'll go through each team and hopefully you're getting through scathe-free. So before we start, like, subscribe, bell, we call it being the triple banger. But also, if you listen to us on audio, give us that 5-star review. Helps us get out into the ears of those like-minded, banter-minded people in the community. Let's kick it off, mate. This is brought to you by the Standard Squeeze, helping you drink responsibly and conveniently. Use the promo code IFS2025 to get yourself 15% off everything in store. And tonight's game, which starts in, an hour's time, mate, we've got the Kangaroos, Kanga, versus the Doggies. Any big ins here that are going to affect anyone's SuperCoach scoring?
Yeah, Will Phillips is probably potentially one, depending on if he tags and who he goes to. The subs have just been named. Robert Henson Jr. and Lockie McNeil are the two subs. Mm-hmm. Finbar Maley will be the chop-in ruck. Besides that, the other real big ins, there's not many. Some pretty decent omissions, but Jack Darling, Georgie Woodlaw, Luke Parker, Luke McDonald, and then for the Western Bulldogs side of things, Sam Darcy, Sam Davidson, sorry, it's not Sam Darcy, James Harms and Buku Kamas. You'd probably look. Let's just be honest. Let's jump straight into this one. Sam Darcy, how many goals?
6.
Yeah, I reckon 6 or 7. I'm gonna say 7, just to be different.
Is he a sneaky VC option, you reckon?
I'm considering it personally. If I didn't have Tom Green, I reckon I could go there. But I reckon... All right, who does Will Phil go to? Is he big enough for Bond?
Oh, no.
Probably,
I reckon he goes to Ed Richards.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Yeah, I don't mind that. Looking at the rest of the team, not too many significant changes, to be fair. It's mainly just, who does Will Phil go to? Harry Sheasel, mate, he's been, he had the non-contact cap for most of the training this week. He's trying to play. He is playing tonight. There is plenty of CBAs up for grabs. Does he grab a few tonight? Do you reckon he plays a bit more midfield?
Maybe a little bit. The Riley Garcia is a big one for me too. He hasn't played all year. So you're looking at Garcia for the Western Bulldogs. You're looking at Richards. You're looking at Bont. You're looking at Libba. You're looking at Frazier. You're looking at Kennedy. Can you see anyone else outside of who I've just mentioned that will go through that midfield rotation? Riley Sanders maybe a little bit too.
Riley Sanders,
that's probably your 6.
Yeah, that's
big ones.
There won't be anyone else. No, you wouldn't think. That's really about it.
Yeah.
For that one,
as we see Higo in the chat live from the World Series of Poker in America, joining us from America. How are you, my man? It's 1:30 a.m. He's had a few drinks and he's partying. So I'm glad that you're choosing to swipe right and view us instead of swiping right on other apps, mate. How do you think tonight's going to go, Deadly?
Tristan Sherry to Bath, Tim English, but Doggies to win by 50.
Yep. We don't want to wreck too much of what's going on inside the Patreon, but our man Flanders put up some really good stats before too about Tristan Cherry, and that if he goes, over 150 meters gained, he's going to score 130 SuperCoach points.
Well, that'd be nice. Let's just hope he snags out the ruck a few times and just
three of the last 4 games against Tim English. The opposition ruckman, if he's gone over 150 meters gained, that said ruckman has scored 130 SuperCoach points.
Yeah, well, it's a fair stat, and I don't doubt that Cherry could definitely do it tonight. To be fair,
yeah. Talk about an international audience too, Deadly. We got Tim joining us from New Zealand as well, mate, and his daughter is watching us tonight. Can you please give her a shout out? You're the man for it.
Scorched Earth's daughter, how are we? Shout out to you. Shout out to the whole Scorched Earth family, Chad Warner's favourite family.
Favourite international family,
Yeah, they're great. They're that whole family, so
they are really
give them
good
a shout
people.
out for sure.
Yeah. Let's talk about Carton, and Shitnet is back.
He is back. It's good.
Oh, dear. Frankie Evans, Ashton Moore. Want to see more of Moore. Harry O'Farrell. Matthew Carroll's back for those that held on to him. And Lockie Cowan is back as well. Amongst those omitted is Jordan Boyd. Jack Silvani is injured. Billy Wilson's out. I would have liked to see him get more than one game. Adam Sard is injured. Alex Chincotta is injured. That's a big one because we may have had him highlighted to potentially have a crack at Dacos, Deadly.
Yeah, that's sort of the one I'm looking at. I don't know who's potentially going to go to Dacos now. It's probably going to be George Hewitt to spend some time on him if he does. But looking at those outs, four forwards, four backmen out for Carlton. Chincotta and Young, replacing Chincotta with Evans is and replacing Young with Moore.
Mm-hmm.
TDK will spend a lot less time in the ruck. I think it's pretty gross for Carlton. Like, not even that I like them or anything, but those are some pretty gross ins. So many chops and changes at this point of the season.
I reckon it's going to be an absolute pizzling.
It's going to be a bad one.
I know you played some pretty high-level sports when you were a kid, mate, but in any sport, if you get wholesale changes like this, it's never a good result.
No, never works.
No.
You need, if you want to make changes like this, it's 1 a week, 2 a week max. Not 6 different changes in the one week.
100%.
And the fact that they're not even forced into it, they could have realistically only made 2 changes, and they're deciding to make 6 it's different, and especially against a very strong Collingwood outfit who has a chance to bring some special players back, including Brazzy Maynard and Tom Mitchell back for his first game too.
How's that going to affect Ned Long?
Should a little bit, you'd reckon. And annoyingly, it probably will, but I reckon Titch's game time is going to be very low.
Do you reckon he might even be sub?
Yeah, good chance of it. I reckon maybe Will Parker's probably the one I'd make the sub, but
okay.
Or Ryan Steele, yeah, I don't know. They've got some guys to choose from, but I don't look. It will affect Long, but I don't think it will affect too much. To be fair, Adam Cherry named at halfback. Interestingly, even though we don't really look at like where people are named, but
yeah. Is there anyone on Carlton's list that you're interested in, mate?
I own George Hewitt. I'm very happy that I own George Hewitt. He's been great.
Mm-hmm. Besides
that, I'm not too fussed on Carlton this season, SuperCoach wise.
Someone that I am actually pretty happy to own, mate, and he is a Carlton Footy Club player. He's quite old as well. It's Sam Doherty.
Yeah.
And I really like his role across halfback. And I think with the way that Collingwood, they don't really man up on anyone, so to speak. They stick to their zones and their structures, and the ball's going to be down there a bit. So I could see him getting a fair bit of the ball tomorrow night as well.
Yeah, that's very fair. I do wonder if potentially I will just quickly look at Adam Cherry's CBAs last week, but he has had a fair bit of non-contact training this week, so potentially might spend some time out of the midfield as a just as make sure his body's right, get him away from the hard contests and whatnot. Which at 68% CBAs that he had, there's going to be some up for grabs, and I reckon Cooper Lord's probably the one to grab it if he does go back.
Yeah. For Collingwood, mate, could you be persuaded in even not putting a VC on tonight and slapping a VC on Nick Dacos, especially without Chincotta in the side for Carlton?
That's the big problem with this week is there is so many good VCC options. You got Cherry tonight, who I love. I got Dacos, who is great. Tom Green against West Coast seems fantastic. And then you got both the Geelong boys, who that's probably just going to be everyone's captain, one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's some others that are available. But look, if you want to captain Dacos, do it. I'm not going to talk you out of vice captaining or captaining any of them. So yeah, I think it's a fair option.
For sure, mate. Collingwood by heaps for both of us. And speaking of teams that are going to win by heaps, GWS are playing West Coast over in Perth, and Malacca champion is in this week. He gets his own little Massimo D'Ambrosio moment. Congratulations to Malachi champion on making your debut this week. Jaden Hunt, well, he's been playing like the proverbial, has been omitted. And Max Grzycki, did I say that right?
Grzycki, yeah.
Yeah. James Leake, for those that held on to him since very early on in the year, is back. And Briggsy is back. So for those that had Nick Madden, he's out. Jesse Hogan, as Hurls referred to throughout the week, he's out. He's injured or managed, not sure which one it is. And Lockie Whitfield is out. And I'd be doing Lockie Whitfield a disservice if I didn't bring up Ryan from Astute Newstead. For all your residential home loan needs, use the promo code INSIGHT and he will help you out for free. Now, how do you see West Coast versus GWS going? Is it going to be another shit fight?
Not good.
Not good
for West Coast. Not good for West Coast.
Who's going to kick the goals for GWS?
Hold on. Kieran Briggs, Finn Callaghan, Tom Green, Toby Green, Max Gushett. You get the point. I'll just name the whole team. But as a gambling man, I think this is probably the matchup for someone like an Aaron Cadman. Annoyingly, the old second tall option. Grushevsky's going to be the main tall, which he's been performing real well in the VFL and deserves this shot. So good on him. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a bloodbath, mate. And I think if you have any GWS players or you're looking at any GWS players for trades this week, I'd back it in.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. There's not really much to talk about here except for I still think Lockie Ash is an option if you'd like to go that way. Tom Green, I really like his run home. We brought it up a couple of nights ago that GWS probably have the best run for midfielders in the run home. So whether you go Tom Green or a Finn Callaghan, depending on which way you'd like to go, I see both as pretty good inclusions at the back end of the year. But for West Coast, the only real SuperCoach worthy aspect that we're going to speak about with them is that can Tom McCarthy get 107 and break the all-time record held by Errol Goulden?
I would like to hope so. It'll be a good story. Do I reckon he does it? Look, there's nothing to suggest he won't. I just don't think personally he will. But I would like for him to do it. Another little one I'd like to talk about, Jobe Shanahan. This will be a good matchup for him on Jack Buckley. He might potentially get a bit more of a look. Yeah. Besides that, GWS by plenty.
Heaps.
Yeah.
By heaps. Let's go to the next game, mate. And it's going to be, is that the Gold Coast game against Essendon? No, yes, it is. Essendon versus the Gold Coast Suns. And we can see Sammy Durham is back. Todd Goldstein is back. Jordan Ridley is back. Parrish out injured, confirmed. Matt Guelphy out. Vigor Vicentini has been omitted. But now that we see Ned Moyle in for Jared Witts, is there a chance that Essendon swing a late change and play Vigo anyway?
Nah, I reckon Goldie's probably back for at least another week or two.
Okay.
He's had what, a couple of weeks off now.
Mm-hmm.
Give him one more back in the ones, because Vigo's it's good for his development to keep playing AFL, but at the same time he does need to play against some easier matchups in the VFL and dominate him a little bit. Let's be fair. And I'm interested to see who it'll be. It'll probably be, I don't know, the backup ruckman for Gold Coast's VFL side. So if we were playing VFL SuperCoach, I'd be captain of Vigo.
Definitely. Yeah. So you got Matt Rowell, one of the big standout players to look at in this game. Noah Anderson, Took Miller, John Noble. Any interest?
Nah, I do prefer. Look, I don't mind John Noble, but I do prefer guys like Ash. Like, there's plenty of other defense players that people wouldn't have that I do prefer to John Noble. Even around a similar price, I like Tom Stewart more. So, yeah, it's good, but I don't rate it as much as other people have been recently.
Yep. Jai Caldwell, potentially one of the very few Essendon options that we're looking at. People will have the likes of Angus Clark in their sides as well. We see Zach Johnson, has held on to his spot in the side as well. Good on that lad, Luamon Luol. Sorry, I'll get that right one day. He has been named on a wing, so good to see him get another crack as well. But for those that went on Nick Martin quite a few weeks ago, and he went 140, and then has been 80s or 90s since, I don't see a clear role for where Nick Martin can score very well game in, game out for the remainder of the year.
Yeah, I agree. There is I do think he goes back to the position where he did score the 140s and whatnot, because he had some slight role changes recently. But with Sammy Durham back, it allows him to go back into the role where he's scoring 140s, where he could have the spike score, but he's never going to have consistent games, especially not the 140 games. He's going to, throw in a few 90s, 80s, maybe even lower, especially in the role that he will play in this weekend.
Yeah, bang on. What about for those that went on Archer May, 99K Ford, mate? Do you think there's scope that he plays for the rest of the year? I mean, he looked good in his last game against Fremantle.
Yep, I think with Langford pretty much done for the year, it's there is a good chance that Liam McMahon comes in, plays a couple of games, but I think it'll be one of May or McMahon for the rest of the year. So he's pretty safe, I reckon. I did bring him in last week, and I'm not complaining about it.
Yeah, bang on, mate. I like it. Gold Coast by heaps for me, unfortunately.
Flagged ons.
Flagged ons, yeah. Next game is going to be Geelong versus Richmond, and as luck would have it, or as Chris Scott is known for, he's given us fuck all to go on tonight. So we're just going to make up the outs for Geelong. Jeremy Cameron out.
Max Holmes out.
Max Holmes is in. Bailey Smith is in. Tom Stewart's out.
Right.
Who else you reckon?
Jack Martin pulled a hammy in the warm-ups or something. I don't know.
Well, he has actually got a sore calf. I did hear from our Geelong man today.
There you go. Jack Martin's out.
Yeah, and while he is likely to play, he went and just got a couple of scans done to make sure that he's right. So,
I think
where is he there? On the wing?
On the wing.
Yeah, and for those that have just tuned in, we're taking the absolute PI55. There's not going to be many changes for Geelong.
I don't think there will be a change. When
we're talking Richmond, Sammy Lawler is back. Tommy Sims is back. Maurice Rioli is back in. Steely Green omitted. Kelty Lafau, sucks to see him injured. Hopefully he gets better soon. One of the absolute legends and one of the Insight's favourite players to watch. And Tom Green landed more haymakers than effective disposals last week. He's having a 5-week holiday.
You go from probably one of the most liked guys on the Insight network in my Kelty Lafau to probably one of the most disliked guys in Tom Lynch. So, well done, Richmond.
Did you know Tom Lynch, as it stands right now, is being paid the most amount of money in the AFL this season?
Yep. And I think I looked at it the other day. Hold on. I'm pretty sure he's averaging about 200K a goal, money wise.
Sounds like you and the Div 12 Resis, mate.
Yeah, well, they're paying me unders, whatever they're paying me. How many goals has he got this season? He has total. He's got 19 goals. So what? Okay. 19 divided by 1.4 is he's getting paid too much to not kick goals.
Too much, yeah.
Yeah.
Something we didn't touch on with Carlton actually is that with Shitnet out and TDK, do you just trade TDK now?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I think even if you've only got 2 trades, I probably still would now, to be fair. I think there is an avenue where you can turn what will be a 70s, 80s scorer, especially if Shitnet stays in there, to a guy scoring 100 plus, same price range. Mm-hmm. Especially if you got him in the flex, I definitely would be making the move. If you got him at ruck 2, it makes it a bit harder. But yeah, if you got it in the flex, I would.
Yep. Like it. What about for those that want to go pottish, mate, for Geelong? They've got a sensational run home. Does Patrick Dangerfield at 330K tickle your vernaculars at all?
I saw some people doing it throughout the week. I went and had a look. I've then decided those people they need to screw their heads back on. I'll put it nicely. Since his monster game against Collingwood, where he went 133, he's gone 46, 29, 46, 83, 57, all in the exact same role. That big Collingwood game, he had an otherworldly amount of CBAs, which he won't get anymore. Yep. Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Not at all.
No. What about Jeremy Cameron, though?
He's an interesting one, but...
Does this scream Charlie Curnow 2024?
Not really. I
He's
think the guy I've been preaching all week is sort of screams Charlie Curnow 2024 in Josh Tracy, but I don't hate the Jezza idea, to be honest with you. Their run home, we've spoke about it a couple of times. It's very nice, and yeah, even through league finals, he goes North, Port, Essendon, Sydney, who some of the worst teams at defending key forwards, just simply enough. And we know Jezza likes to get behind the ball a little bit, get a bit more involved than the usual key forward. But at the price range, who's around at that price range? There's guys like would you take him, or would you take a Jack Graham or a Shai Bolton? If we're talking specifically that price range.
Jack Graham.
Or even the Georgiades. Georgiades is all right. I'd take Jezza over him. But yeah, I'd take Jack Graham, who's 8K more expensive than Jezza.
Yeah, okay.
I think that's fair.
Yep. Geelong are going to win by 100.
I'll give Richmond some hope. They'll win by 40. Geelong.
Goals?
Behinds.
Okay. Brisbane versus Port Adelaide at the Gabba on Saturday evening. Callan Archie, another favourite of the Insight Fantasy Sports WhatsApp group. Darcy Gardner is back as well. Will McLaughlin is out, and the Breville, the sandwich maker, he's also been omitted. Sorry, not admitted. He's not going to hospital, mate. Jack Lukosius, the man, the myth, the legend. He's playing. Ollie Wines is back as well. A couple of big ins. Manny Liddy has been omitted, and so has Logan Evans. The leg sleeve is no longer for this week.
Miles Bergman's playing halfback with those outs. No doubt in my mind.
Did you hear the press conference where Ken Hinckley stated that Bergman was going to go to Chockies?
Yes, I did see that.
Do you think it comes through, or?
Oh, it probably does. But Christ, you losing a winger and a backman, you're bringing in Lukosius is going to play forward this week, and Wines will probably just replace on the wing / CBA areas, which just kicks out, the random midfielder they have. But Rosie will play halfback. There's, I do think Bergman does. If he doesn't, he probably does tag, makes it hard. What was Rosie's CBAs? Yeah, he didn't have any last week, so he's back. Yeah, he probably plays midfield, actually. Now, the more I look at it, I think Horne-Francis probably plays a bit more midfield this week. Someone's going to have to slide back for a bit, and dare I say, my boy Jace could have some time at halfback in this one.
Wow. Yeah. Connor Rosey, mate. So he was being isolated away from teammates earlier this week. I haven't heard today as to whether he's right to go, but him being named, he's going to be right to go?
He's fine. Yep, he's fine. He, I want to say he participated fully today or yesterday.
Okay.
But yeah, he's sweet.
Yeah, beautiful. For Brisbane, we've got the likes of Josh Dunkley's quite cheap, mate. Lachie Neale's quite cheap at the moment as well, but I probably would err away from buying Lachie Neale. If you've got him and you need to hold him, then so be it. But McCluggage, Will Ashcroft, they seem to be the two moving forward that seem to be scoring quite consistently for the Brisbane Lions. But Dane Zorko, how do you see the rest of the season panning out for little man Zorko?
Brisbane's an interesting one. If you're looking to bring in a Brisbane player, I wouldn't do it. I'll just put it simply as that. It'll get to the point where, unless they, completely fighting for top spot, they're going to start resting some of these older guys for finals. And, let's just say Dane Zorko gets rested round 22. Mm-hmm. You're in the, finals of your league, and Dane Zorko's out. Not ideal, especially if you brought him this week. So.
That's right.
I would steer clear of Brisbane at this point.
Is this one of the upsets that could happen? Port Adelaide have been playing some pretty good footy lately, and those two wins that they have, Lukosius and Ollie Wines, much better than the outs that they have, and they have been playing some all right footy lately.
Disrespectful to Logan Evans. Thank you very much.
Who?
But at the Gabba, nah, Brisbane.
No, okay. Did you see the word circulating about Joey Danaher considering coming back?
I don't know why at this point. I don't get it.
Sydney being the team he's linked to.
Surely Joey Danaher, Essendon legend, doesn't ruin my love for him by going to Sydney.
Yeah, Phil, he's talking to you. Let's move on to the next game, mate. St Kilda versus Hawthorne. We got a couple of ins and outs for each team, quite big as well. For those that held on to Angus Hastie, he's back. Probably going to be sub though. Bradley Hill is back as well. Good to see him back. James Sicilian is back as well as James Warple. Josh Weddle is out with that back injury. Sam Butler's out with a bit of leg soreness, Deadly. Is that from the leg of which he had the break in it last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, they're just being precautionary. He's as soon as he's ready to come back though, they'll have him straight back in. He is a first team player for them now.
And then Toby Travaglia has been omitted. I actually thought he'd been playing all right the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean it. Maybe they just want to give Hastie a bit of a run through. He's named start halfback. We'll see on game day if he is actually not the sub, but yeah, maybe they're just chopping and changing these guys and giving some guys a bit of a run through. We got Isaac Keeler named in the back pocket, which I wouldn't mind at this stage, but I kind of doubt that it's going to happen with Caminiti named forward.
Yeah, for sure. Super coach wise, mate, Isaiah Wanganeen-Malera has been really good, but what's going on with Jack Sinclair?
I honestly, mate, he's just sort of, I don't know. I don't think it's really anything. It's just sort of he isn't getting as involved as he was last time. He's in the same role. It's just I don't know, to be honest with you. It's just he's just not touching the ball as much.
Back-to-back tons for Dylan Moore as well at Hawthorne. Is that a permanent role change we've seen? And can people start to consider him again, or is it still dangerous territory?
Very dangerous territory still. I don't love it, especially the fact that he is... I'm fairly sure he's coming off an injury. that has been managed throughout the week. So yeah, just I would keep an eye on it. If he's the guy you're looking at, I don't hate it, but at the same time, I think there's a bit of last year hope about it, and I feel like you're chasing the score of the Adelaide game because the run home for Hawthorn's pretty shit. I'll be honest.
Yep. I'm hearing you, mate.
Yeah, so it's going to be tough to get the ball forward of centre for Dylan Moore to even, get it.
Is Josh Ward someone we should be keeping our eyes out on for next year? He's been sneaky good this year.
Depends, because it
depend on Will Day.
It depends on Will Day, and it depends on who Hawthorn are getting in free agency, because apparently they're linked to every bastard under the sun, and they'll probably find a way to kick Ward back out to a wing or to the dead half-back role. But he's just sort of one that got away this year. I don't think he probably repeats the exact same sort of stuff next year. I can't see him, being top 8 mids, which he's gonna be mid only, so he won't be top 8. I don't think he gains much more cash. I think it's sort of just another one that's there in that price range.
The Viking, going to give him any love here?
Yeah, he's a gun. He's a genuine gun. He's like the third most brought in player this week, and if you're thinking about bringing him in, I wouldn't, just due to this. He's almost the first top owned player this week, but I wouldn't, just simply due to the fact that he's 163k. Unless you got trades, it's going to be pointless. You may as well just get DPP guy who is cheaper, who's going to play next couple weeks instead of Toru, because there is a good chance he does sneak back into the VFL for a bit. I'd rather take let me have a quick look.
While you're looking there, is there a chance that St Kilda beat Hawthorne this week? I think there is. Yeah,
there's definitely a chance. There is a good chance. I think I'd rather take. I can't trust James Lake's job security.
No.
Joe Bynes is average. Hasty. If you haven't got Bo Allen, but I think most people do nowadays. I'd take Bo Allen over him.
The last three times Hawthorne have played St Kilda. In 2023, Hawks won by 10 points. At the end of 2023, St Kilda won by 5 goals. 2024, St Kilda lost by 5 points. So they do match up quite well against each other.
Yeah. It's definitely not out of the question. They do like this sort of matchup, St Kilda, but Hawthorn like it just as much. I think this might be a bit of a James Sicily game. I don't know about you. That's just the hunch I'm getting, that the Sis is going to have a bit of a good one in this one. But if you're going Toro, I'd rather just go like a 99k bloke. You're not going to need these guys, to play week in, week out. If you do, then I think you got bigger problems than what's going on.
For sure. Let's move on to the next game, mate, and that's going to be the first of the Sunday games, Sydney versus Fremantle in Sydney. And given that you live about an hour and a half away from the SCG, mate, how wet is it going to be?
To be fair, it was quite sunny today, so it might dry up a little bit, but looking at the forecast, it's still going to be pretty shit out. So there is a good chance it does rain on the day, and it's just going to be cold. It's going to be shit. I think Sydney will win just due to the simple fact of the playing surface, the conditions. I don't think it's team-wise. I think it's more they're just going to be better in the conditions.
Yeah, for sure, mate. So we see Laddams is in, Hambling's in, Ahmadi's in, McCartan's in, and Bice. So 5 blokes who are over 7 foot 100 come in, and it's going to be wet. So Sydney are doing their best. I'm a bit 6-pack short of a slab type of operation with their ins. Dane Rampy is out now, and Francis is suspended. In for Fremantle, James Ace, Jeremy Sharp, Jaeger O'Meara, and Alex Pearce. So your boy, mate, Goulden, is on the bubble this week. Should people be considering the man for the run home?
Yep. Simple as that, yes. He's a gun, and he's the pod of the week by far for me. Look, I do think there is better midfield options. Don't get me wrong. I think if you don't have Tom Green, I've loved owning Tom Green. I think he's probably my number one priority if you don't have. But at the same time, Errol's 0.6% owned, and we know what he's capable of. There is some big games in there. We just saw it on the weekend against the Dogs, and the Sydney run home's pretty decent. With St Kilda, North, Essendon, and West Coast still to come. So, if you enjoy the look of Errol, I'm never going to talk you out of it.
I'm tossing up. Now that Witts is out, I've got to trade out Witts this week. And I'm looking at Noah Anderson to bring in for him because I can take Jackson into my forward line and then move Bailey Smith back into Jackson into the rucks and then Bailey Smith into the forward line.
Yep.
So I'm tossing up between Noah Anderson and Errol Goulden at the moment as to who I bring in.
I think just purely based on them two, you just got to look at tags because they're probably going to be the main tag targets nowadays. Anderson against Essendon, Setterfield probably spend some time on him, you'd think. Collingwood probably gets no one. Adelaide might get Peatling, doubt it. Brisbane, you'll get some Dunkley love, but that's about it. Richmond, no one. Carlton, probably no one, to be honest, at that stage. GWS, Bedford, maybe, probably. And Port, probably no one. So Anderson, realistically, only two real tag worries the rest of the season. Errol, Bedford, Setterfield, maybe that's it as well. So same two tags. It doesn't really help, actually, the more I think about it. I think matchup-wise, probably just Errol. But I do like Noz. So.
What about... So Sydney have a few options, mate. You've got Chad Warner. You've got Isaac Heaney. You've got Goulden, Blakey, even to an extent. If people have got Matt Roberts, I think if you've got the trade, you probably need to get off now.
Yep, 100%.
Brody Grundy, even if you're looking for another poddish ruckman who's been the best Supercoach scorer in the last couple of weeks, 2.2% owned.
Would you really spend $700K on Brody Grundy though at this stage?
People spent $700 on $700K on Gorn.
Yeah, but that's mid-season. At this stage of the season, where are you pulling $700K from? TDK plus $200K. I'd like to have that.
Yeah.
If you can afford Grundy, I don't hate it, but you better make sure it's the last trade that you're going to do.
Yeah, bang on.
James Jordan, like we said, we don't really look at where people are named, but he is named in the midfield. Probably due to spend some time on someone, Sarong or Brayshaw. Yep. Which one?
I think Sarong.
Or does he go to Geordie Clark?
Oh, he's gone to Clark in the past, hasn't he? You're the tag man. Yeah.
He has. He's tagged all three in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
So it could literally be any one of them. We talked about all the good VCC options. I wouldn't go to anyone in this game.
No, not at all.
And on the contrary, Wagner probably tags Chad. I reckon Chad's probably the one that cops it.
Yeah, I think so. Let's move into the last game of the round, mate, and it's going to be the Adelaide Crows versus the Melbourne Footy Club in Adelaide. Burgess, Bond, and Taylor are in. No one out because they don't have to name a team just yet. Lever, Billings, Jed Adams, Van Rooyen, and Tom McDonald are all in the squad. Blake Howes is injured. Harrison Petty is injured. Jed Adams is new. And Adelaide just have such a fucking good run on the way home, mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does Rory Laird come into calculations at all?
It's the same sort of thing as what's the average? I haven't looked at Rory Laird in about 12 weeks.
Well, I'm going to tell you his numbers for the past 3 weeks, mate.
Go ahead.
111, 118, 118. He's gone back to halfback.
Kick-in wise, 0-0-1.
Yep.
That's all I look at. I don't see sustainable scoring without kick-ins at halfbacks. Okay. That's just how it is.
Okay.
I think there is better options around the price point. It is a good run home. Adelaide, I think me and you both had them to finish high. Maybe not this high that they could finish there.
I went back on Twitter and I did have them 6th. Yeah.
What are they coming right now? They're 3rd. I think. Remember that hot takes episode we did? We're gonna have to go back and have a look at some of them. But I'm pretty sure I had Adelaide coming real high, and I had Gold Coast coming real high in that too. So we'll see.
What do you think, mate? So Jordan Dawson continues to be playing well. He's just a season-long keeper. Yeah. Isaac Rankin got his CBAs back last week, which will please those that held him. He was on, 76 at halftime and petered out to a 99. But even in saying that, mate, the fact that the CBAs are there makes me happy enough to know that he's got scoring potential moving forward.
Yeah, and he's one that I jumped off just because I jumped off about a month ago now because he was starting to shit me. I think I killed him, and but there is definitely upside back there now. They've sort of gone back to their roots of what they started this season with, a few of these guys in their positions with Rankin playing more midfield, Laird back at halfback, these sorts of guys. It sort of just meant that they could get back used to their old spots. And, there's scoring upside for a lot of them, as we found out start of the season.
Yeah, okay. Adelaide to win by how much? Heaps.
35. Ben Keys kicks 5.
Jeez, that Ben Keys bloke's still haunting me. Before we move off this game, though, mate, there is one player I do want to ask you about, and he's got real scope to be really good in the future. That's Daniel Curtin. He's really starting to come into his own. How
good was his game on the weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. I get it was against Richmond, but fuck me dead. He was everywhere, and he showed the real potential that was sort of praised of him when he was coming through the ranks. And he's just a genuine star, and I think his brother's going to be just as good when he comes in end of this year. And they're not short either, the Curtin boys.
No, just a couple of quick ones before we knock off, mates, because this is the panic room. We want to get it done before the first bounce. Almost didn't recognise Deadly without his floaties on, given that it's been that wet in Sydney. And our man, Jared, is back. El Deadly, Cholo Cherry or Bont VC?
Cherry.
Cherry?
Cherry for me.
If people wanted to go with a pod VC, who would they go?
For those that own Tom Green, 100%, he's number 1 VC this week. Who's sort of pod? Have a bit of a look here. You got your obvious guys. Like if you own Brody Grundy, you're probably slapping a VC or a C on him at this stage of the year. Who are the guys that's going to be... Like Cherry's going to be probably the most VC'd player, right? You'd think so.
Mm-hmm.
Bont's going to be high up there. Dacos going to be high up there. Sam Darcy
could be a good one.
Yeah. Like if you got Ed Richards, he potentially is another one. I do like the idea of Lockie Ash if you have him against West Coast without Whitfield. He could have about 60 million touches. So there's a few options there for sure.
A lot of the top 1% are going quite pottish. I've just checked the stats 15 minutes before the first bounce, mate, and 5.8% of the top 1% are trading out Harry Sheasel.
Ooh. Yeah, I didn't mind the idea of doing it, to be fair. It's such a question mark about his role and what his responsibility is in that North team, especially with basically the week off. Does he play less game time? Is he really, he had a shit week last week, let's be honest. He scored 60 and he was lucky to get to 60. So I don't hate the idea, but as a guy with one trade left, I don't think I can advocate selling Harry Sheasel at this stage.
No, that's right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do us for the panic room. We want to get it out into the lounge room or living room or wherever it is you are watching us on YouTube, or whether you listen to us in the car on all good audio devices. Give us that thumbs up, give us a like, subscribe, the bell, the 5 stars. We love all that sort of stuff. But more importantly, it's nice to see Deadly back on our screens on a Thursday night, mate. So I know you've been a busy man. I know the floods have got you fucked at the moment, but it is nice to see you back.
Yeah, I don't know how many people would agree with you with that one. No, it's good to be back. Had some things going last week, had some things going this week. It's all a part of life. It's good fun, and hopefully we can get back to some consistent appearances, I suppose.
The mustache is looking thick.
Oh, thank you. I've done nothing to it since you last saw me. So,
ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do us. You can find us on X or within our WhatsApp group inside the Patreon, where we'll be talking all weekend. Thank you for joining us. Remember, it's okay not to be okay, and it's not weak to speak for those of you that are struggling at home. Hopefully, you all see some green arrows this week, and we'll catch you Sunday night for our Round 17 review. We'll see you then. Peace.
Flag Dons.